That's the end of the show.
Bobby, the water down on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the libation. I also found with that pan.
Oh, okay, I see what you did. Okay, that's good. We'll just put it right here. This'll work.
Okay.
This'll work. It's long enough. About fallen spirit, you say I am. We're going to go into some history of that today also, too. But we're the ones that actually fell. Fell, or either was trapped in the physical or trapped down here. So that which you're scared of is only your own self. So we want to pull libations to that kind of energy right now, because it's our own energy. Our own energy. People who have problems with that, then will entertain the question and answer, so you can get a clarity on that particular information. The notes right, you can see here. What we're going to do, I would like, or should I do it? I was going to let somebody come up and call it while I pour the water. I know what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and do it myself and all, since I get the rhythm going a lot of times with that. I just do it myself. Myth. Well, this is a papyrus coming from that particular information. So for the people that want to get it and all, you can, people that you want to get it and all, you can, it's only $1 for the people that want it, that particular papyrus. Also, I don't, like I said, I don't usually sell stuff most of the time, but what it is every now and then, but the people ask for when I come to bring certain things that they might want. Now, we have a book here. There's different mythology throughout the years, throughout the ancient world, as of trying to describe parts of how we fell and trying to describe different things that happen. And a lot of the ancient world, you have to read 4 and 5 different creation stories, other things, and 4 and 5 different mythological texts to find a similarity, to find out, well, this is the one that actually was the one that we feel that how this whole thing went down. Well, a lot of this stuff you can get also in the H.P. Lovecraft works of the Cthulhu myth. And Cthulhu is nobody but Osiris in Hemmitt. And anyway, because he was actually went into certain dreams in the 1920s, he was able to piece back things that was destroyed based on ancient fragments decaying or whatever, the decline of civilization. So to get a grasp on the whole system, which is the H.P. Lovecraft books and the new system of magic and stuff that is developed out of that, called the Necronomicon and different things, and even some of the movies that's being brought out called Deep Rising, Phantoms, In the Mouth of Madness, and different movies and all, which they're taking on this particular, even your new Godzilla movie that's coming out. A lot of that particular information and all is being based off this H.P. Lovecraft, and also the government knows that that's one way that it's going to go down. Is not necessarily from the stars, but right here on Earth, in between dimensions, when our own spirit comes up as something called a monster of soul and retake the Earth. So to get a grasp on that, here's a book. It's about 9 pages. It's about 9 pages plus. It also has a bibliography in the back for the people that want to try to study that particular system of these so-called monsters or the powers of chaos spirits, which we are chaos spirits. And people that want to try to study that system, we got this book up here for like 9 pages for like $5 for the people that want to get that particular book. That particular book is called Calling Cthulhu, the H.P. Lovecraft, and he's a New England skeptic. It has the Hippos, today's electric pantheons, and basically the Hippos of the day's electric pantheons, and he literally put back the pieces of what really happened. But I'm going to go into some ancient things today, on some other things, to put back some pieces on how we got in this particular situation that you don't basically hear. A lot of the information in Kemet in Egypt although it's one of the oldest, a lot of it is fragmented, which means they tore up so many temples and a lot of stuff was pillaged, and basically the degeneration and the decline of civilization, whereas you have to go other places to put it together. A more accurate form of what went down in the Egyptian pantheon is also in the Greek mythology. It's just that we thought the Greek mythology was invented by white people. But the Greek mythology was actually invented by black people, the original black people who, the Etruscans, who in actuality taught the language and everything else and the mythology. So we're going to deal with that also today too. But first of all, we want to libate the place to get some energy up in here. Some energy up in here. Let's see, I think I'll deal with, I'll deal with this. So you know the deal, when you libate, in actuality, you're only putting forth your own energy. You're putting forth your own energy. That's the reason for mantras and all this type of thing, is in actuality, you're putting forth your own energy, you are using your own energy to do what you want to do, or to either rejuvenate the place or your body or whatever you might think it is, other than paying homage to some entity outside of yourself, because we are all one. So, you know the deal. Ashe, which means so be it, it also means power. So when we call out deities, you do the Ashes. And this is also called Ashe, which is water. Okay? Bethiel, Ashe. Coriel, Ashe. Laurie, Ashe. Focos, Ashe. Eligos, Ashe. Balaam, Ashe. Zephar. I want to give a special shout out to Azazel, Ashe. Alikos, Ashe. Botos, Ashe. Camaro, Ashe. Becton, Ashe. Murmur, Ashe. Helios, Ashe. Orbus, Ashe. Persus, Ashe. Grimory, Ashe. Marat, Osi, Ifo, Ashe, Ami, Ashe, just keep on rolling with it, I like that. Aim, Ashe, Orion, Ashe, Navarus, Ashe, Belpala, Ashe, Golisial, Labius, Zagan, Ashe, Oni, Ashe, Balak, Ashe, Ranab, Ashe, Andorra, Ashe, Bereth, Ashe, Herorus, Ashe, Astaroth, Ashe, Andaralifas, Ashe, Farnoth, Ashe, Philorath, Ashe, Forora, Ashe. I'll tell you what you do. Start, can you beat a little tune on that? Yeah. That leaves it up. That'll do it, yeah. That'll do it, yeah. Okay, Horus, Ashe, Amadeus, Ashe, Asamane, Ashe, Otherlel, Ashe, Yeah, Ashe, Jaswakaba, Ashe, Berber, Ashe, Siri, Ashe, Argentina, Ashe, Montezalem, Ashe, Statla, Ashe, Androlea, Ashe, Valel, Ashe, Ramat, Ashe, Andara, Ashe, Apsafat, Ashe, Bogio, Ashe, Mapua, Ashe, Samagia, Ashe, Psalm, Ashe, Momba, Ashe, Bolika, Ashe, Elva, Ashe, Elva, Ashe, Elva, Ashe, Mama, Ashe, Satma, Ashe, Barakino, Ashe, Sat, Ashe, Sinam, Ashe, Bean, Ashe, Bird, Ashe, Reno, Ashe, Mugan, Ashe, Raul, Ashe, Sergi, Ashe, Pagatiki, Ashe, Gaia, Ashe, Uranus, Ashe, Venus, Ashe, Ceres, Ashe, Chronos, Ashe, Rhea, Ashe, Ornity, Ashe, Titan, Ashe, Hyperin, Ashe, Neptune, Ashe, Titus, Ashe, Lapidus, Ashe, Victoria, Ashe, Cyprus, Ashe, Phoebe, Ashe, Thea, Ashe, Prometheus, Ashe, Prometheus, Ashe, Aztec, Ashe, Memphis, Ashe, Lut, Ashe, Nessie, Ashe, Lucan, Ashe, Apis, Ashe, Tyre, Ashe, Segment, Ashe, Yashet, Ashe, keep on going. Zulu, Ashe, Lugon, Turkey, Ashe, Abydos, Ashe, Dagon, Ashe, Yosato, Ashe, Yehotia, Ashe, Call out your ancestors. 1, 2, 3, start calling out your ancestors. Go ahead. Ashe. 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 All gods known and unknown. All ancestors known and unknown. All right. Okay. Ashe. Keep going, y'all. Call anybody come to mind. Call it out. Ashe. 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 All gods known and unknown. All ancestors known and unknown. All right. All right. Okay. What we're going to deal with, guess we're going to go right into it. Deal with a couple of things right now that we need to deal with as far as, let's see what's on hard copy as far as what's going on. First of all, the people need to go out and see the movie, or either, I don't know if it's gone yet, but the movie Wag the Dog. And the movie Wag the Dog, I'm quite sure you can get it on video, and it shows how the government literally comes in and sets up, or do what they want to do as far as ruling the people based on setting up some false sense of government or some false sense of identity as far as the way they will come in and start wars, and it's basically bearing witness to what you've been hearing about the New World Order and the secret societies and all of that type of thing, whereas literally your life is being ruled by someone coming in and in actuality plotting things day by day that they want you to be interested in to keep you away from rising up or keep your mind on some lower level of ignorance. And anyway, what this movie dealt with is, the movie was made a year ago, but the movie actually had the Monica Lewinsky thing in it, as well as the Saddam Hussein thing in it, and a host of other things. So if they made a movie a year ago about the events that's going on now, about the president, screwing around, and then he had to go back into Iraq and all of that. If they made the movie a year ago, that means that everything is predestined, or everything is already mapped out. And basically, they just keep the cattle going over and over again, basically keep you locked into this system and never realizing your full potential. Now, there is a movie that's still in the theaters, and you need to go see that movie called Dark City. Anybody saw the movie?
No, I'm waiting on it.
It's not up here yet?
No, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it's
it.
up there.
It is?
There's no previews of it.
That's all I've seen.
Yeah, but
Previews.
yeah, but I'm quite sure you got. I'm quite sure it's hidden because that's a very popular movie at this particular time.
Yeah.
But if it's here, but I say that you need to go see the movie within the next couple of days, because you never know how long things last and all. So don't skate on that one, because a lot of the information, if anybody's ever heard me speak, a lot of the information that I've been giving up over the last couple of years is in the movie. In the movie, we'll go into a little bit of that. In a few minutes. But also, you had your movie, the movie Fallen. And the movie was about Denzel Washington having to battle these so-called, quote-unquote, fallen spirits. These fallen spirits. Well, in actuality, that particular movie was, if you understand the science behind it, that is nobody but us. And in the movie, they literally, Denzel Washington actually turned into this particular spirit called Azazel. So what I want you to do is go see that. You might be able to go and rent it on, you can't rent it yet because I'm quite sure it's not on video, but I'm quite sure that movie will be, you can get that movie available based on, the bootleg thing going on up here. And when I get into some of the science tonight, we will deal with just exactly what that's dealing with. But on another thing, a lot of the extraterrestrial movies or any type of movie that's dealing with anything on a mystical level, they're putting the black person in those movies constantly as the battery. And so basically, we even made this assumption last night that even this particular movie, Primary Colors, that's out, if you notice, they put the black man right on the front cover of the poster. This new black boy. Now this guy here is a no name, unknown, but yet he's sharing a poster. You see what I'm saying, with the major stars. You got to understand why they do things the way they do. Also, you must understand that it has something linked up. We know that the movie is about Bill Clinton, but this whole thing with your boy Vernon Jordan, very key, because when you're talking about energy, first of all, if we understand that the government don't run nothing no way, that there's an elite group of people, then secretively, Vernon Jordan could be the president, and you don't know it. You see, where does he figure in this thing, and why is he such a close person, the friend, the advisor, and the friend of the president? And what does he have to do with the administration when he turned down the job in the first place? You see what I'm saying? And since when did the government need anybody outside of its own structure for advice? You see what I'm saying? He's not even part of the party. But they killed one of the other advisors, Ron Brown, and they had to get a new Negro. But it's also to say that the white boy, in some kind of way, is trying to bail out of his own country, because he knows that the shit is hitting the fan, so he puts the Negro up there. You see what I'm saying? So we're not just talking about just a boule, we're talking about a chief. You see what I'm saying? A commander-in-chief, just like the president, because if you notice, he's being under attack with all this shit about the women he's screwing and all this type of thing, but in actuality, they ain't saying nothing bad about Vernon Jordan. And if you go to the Republican side, they got their Negro Colin Powell. So it's also said that we got to have a person that is not only the right-hand man to the president, but who could very well be leading the country himself. If he says in actuality that they go out and they get this man is a chief advisor, you see what I'm saying, for the president, then if you advising the damn president, then that means in actuality you running the country. Now, does this mean that he's running the country and making the decisions? We're not talking about literally being a president, because all that is fake. And we understand, based on the Illuminati, that there's no such thing as government nowhere. So therefore, for the mere fact that he's in the equation, it also might mean, based on energy-wise, that they got him up there as the decoy. You understand what I'm saying? Just in case the shit gets thick. They need that black energy. It's just like anything else. They've been doing it since the damn 70s. Anything that they want to be authentic, they got to put the Negro in it. You see what I'm saying? That's the energy. That's the battery. That's why now you got black women in the Skull and Bones. You see what I'm saying? That is for a reason. That's to legitimize the evilarchy to the point where, as they say, well, you know, hey, we got black people up in here, we are all one race. You see what I'm saying? There is no separation. So this is the reason why they are bringing us closer and closer into the fold of things and all, because it's like Honorable Muhammad said, he's going to give you everything, including the woman. So when the damn devil come to get them, try to get you too. You see what I'm saying? This is very key that we must understand, and so I'm trying to find out when we need to go, somebody need to go and check this movie out. I would have checked it out the other day, but we need to check this movie out and just find out what's going on. But the key is we can do this type of stuff because we know that we're not really checking it out to go and be entertained. And plus, most of the people that go into the movie, they're not worried about black people, because most of the people go in the movie, they're thinking it's just a damn movie. They don't know it's a documentary. And that's what the guy on the movie Wag the Dog. Now, what does Wag the Dog mean? The tail within itself is a very slick type of tail that they get in the last laugh. A tail doesn't wag a dog wags a tail. But if you understand the whole hierarchy concept of a group of people running a whole body of people, it's the same as the damn tail wagging the dog. You see what I'm saying? The Illuminati concept. Our lives are run by elite people, maybe 10 in a damn room, running millions of people. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, the concept of wag the dog itself is a great a great emblem of what's really going on in this particular society. So the particular movie, we need to go see it and go in the movie with open eyes and don't go in the movie just to be entertained. But they know that that's all black people go to the movie for any damn way. So they are so bold now, they're literally putting things out and saying, hey, we're trying to see if the zombies out here can even pick up on it. And basically, it's not that they're really monitoring to see who's going to be in control. They just don't give a damn no more. They just know that's the arrogance. That was even in Star Wars. When he told the Emperor, when Darth Vader told, Luke Skywalker told the Emperor, he said that your confidence will be your undoing. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, they know and they see the masses of the people just going about like it's 1965. You see, let's put it as 1975, like nothing is going on, and yet the whole world is falling down around them, whereas 10, 20 years ago, they would have rioted and burnt down the damn place. They know that they got the controlling factor, and basically, they're just basically playing a game. It's like a board game. Very key to understand this particular time. What we want to deal with right now is to piggyback on what I just said. This book is called Hermetica. Now, Hermetica, first of all, the Bible is a composite of damn near maybe hundreds of different scripts around the ancient world, mainly the ancient Mediterranean, out of ancient Africa, and ancient Hemmitt. They compiled the Bible, put the Bible together. Number one, when we got into the Egyptian thing, we thought that the Book of the Dead was the chief book of ancient Hemmitt. And that's because we are actually thinking like the Europeans, or we are actually thinking with a modern mind back into the past. The real deal is ancient Hemmitt just didn't have no one chief book. They had thousands and thousands of books because it was an educational system. You only need one chief book when you're in a religion, and they didn't have a religion. You see what I'm saying? They had an educational system. One of the key books is the book Hermetica, because it's coming off of the Hermes Trismegistus material. And in the Hermes Trismegistus material, which is Hermes, is the Greek Tahuti. And Tahuti is not necessarily just an entity that is a God that sets over wisdom and learning, but it can also be a priesthood. You see what I'm saying? The priesthood of Tahuti, or a higher realm of knowledge given on the planet by ancient masters or ancient priests. So this particular book was wrestled out of the Library of Alexandria, and later on was brought into Europe by the Moors. This book, we have gotten this particular book instead of the King James Version, we probably would have been further awake in understanding the missions of the universe, because the simple fact, you might have 3 or 4, 5 pages that might explain the whole universe and man's relationship to the universe in 5 pages, what the damn Bible might fail to do in the whole fucking book. You see what I'm saying? Because the Bible can't do it, because it's a secondary instrument. It's a compilation of other types of pieces from around the ancient world to put together to form a religion. Now that's different. That's different than something that is trying to educate a person based on the evolution of the soul, or basically a blueprint map of the actual soul. So therefore, we're talking about the Hermetic material is being more authentic, which I want to, which in this particular part, I don't have to necessarily read it, but I want to deal with some things. And when people have heard me before, you probably heard me talk about this. But in this particular section, this is by Walter Scott. There's several versions of this, but this particular one, Hermetica by Walter Scott, is one of the ones that's in print. So you can still get this particular book. You can order it. But in this particular one, this one is put out by Shambhala Press. So there's 2 versions, but the one that has the most information in it, you want to get the one put out by Shambhala Press. Just put out, I think, in 1990. Well, it was originally published in 1920 something. But on the other hand, they just recently put it back out again in 1996 or something, like 1993. But anyway, the section in here is on the discourse of the dialogue from Hermes to Tax. Now also, and which I'm going to get into in a few minutes, also this particular book contains the 5,000-year-old prophecy in where the Egyptians, Imhotep, which is the first father of medicine, is getting instruction either from the priesthood or he's getting a divination from or a channel from the god Tahuti in the spirit realm. Either way, he's actually receiving information even from a priesthood, or he's receiving information from his own higher self. And in here is a conversation that's going on where Tahuti is telling him how Egypt is the greatest, is the greatest home of the gods and is the heaven on earth. But will come a time when Egypt will fall prey to grave robbers and barbarians, and the barbarians will come in and overrun the place, and the gods and the religion and the people will go in vain, and which used to be a place full of temples and worship of the gods will become a place for tombs, and the dead people in the body will flow in the river and make the Nile River red. Which in actuality, this is not just talking about just ancient Kemet, it's talking about all of African civilization or all the black people around the world indigenous-wise. And it goes on to say that the rich man, that the weak man will be considered strong, and the strong man, which is us, would be considered weak. And the wise man will be considered a fool, and the fool will be considered a wise man. Goes on to say, and it goes on also to say that the ancient black person, and I'll quote the words that said that the ancient Egyptian will later on become robbers and thieves, and his body would be that of an Egyptian or an African, but his mind would be of another race. So Imhotep in here starts to cry. And this is very key. It's going to be in Asclepius 3. And it's very key because this has a lot to do with what we're dealing with right now. Imhotep starts to cry. And I want to read a part. Let me just read a little bit so you can get a phase on what I'm talking about. It also goes into the book and says how there's different races of people. Some with souls, some without souls. Simple. Some with souls from the ancient and some without souls. But in this, but let me read a little bit to give you a feel on what's going on. Asclepius is the Greek word for Imhotep. Now, you know your doctors have the Hippocratic Oath, but the God that they are praying to and even in the Hippocratic Oath, which is supposed to be your Hippocrates and the person where they swear in the doctors, the God that they are praying to, are giving the oath to, is called Asclepius, which is Imhotep, which is the first father of medicine. So even the white boys who even deal with Hippocrates, who is supposed to be the father of medicine, they bear witness to the first father of medicine in the actual Hippocratic Oath. So Asclepius, who is Imhotep, and it says, O Asclepius, do you know, Asclepius, that Egypt is the image of heaven, or to speak exactly, Egypt in all operations of the powers and the works in heaven has been transferred to earth. Now, if the gods reign in heaven and something is also transferred to earth, and the Egyptians or the people that they're talking about that this stuff is transferred to, this is also bearing witness that your ass is God. You see what I'm saying? Now this gets beyond religion and what you believe in, because this is 5,000 years old. This is the oldest shit we got on the planet. You see, this stuff was, even though it was wrestled out of the Library of Alexandria, this stuff is thousands of years old. As a matter of fact, they bear witness to Atlantis in the book, or in the particular, there's several versions of this. I have another one that came out in 1992, Thrice Great Hermes by G.R.S. Mead. $50, 3 volumes and $50 for $50, but black people didn't buy it. So now it's out of print, but you still can get this one. But it also bears witness that when they're talking to Tahuti, he said, we came from the land of the deluge, which is talking about Atlantis. And your whole Noah flood story is still talking about Atlantis and the sinking of Atlantis and Lemuria. You see, a sinking of Atlantis and Lemuria. But it says that the gods will be, everything will be transferred from heaven to earth. Nay, it will shoulder it should rather be said that the whole cosmos in this, our land, and in the sanctuary, the whole cosmos will dwell in the particular land of Hemmitt, or in actuality, we're talking about Africa and the black world. Because Hemmitt here is not necessarily just referring to the part of East Africa that you know of as the Nile Valley. They're talking about Cam, the black land, period. You see what I'm saying? They're talking about us as far as who the hell we are. But it says, so the whole cosmos will dwell in the land and in its sanctuary. And yet, since it is fitting that man should have knowledge of all events before the time to pass, you must not be left in ignorance of this. So first he said to him how great it is. Then he goes on to say, there will come a time when it will be seen that in vain that the Egyptians have honored. And it says that the deity with the heartfelt piety, it says, and Adonis served. And it goes on to say in this particular part, because they're translating this from Latin. I know, because it went from Greece to Latin and into Europe by the Moors. And it goes on to say, well, it will come a time when even the gods will not even be worshipped. It also says that it's going on a time when man will no longer even look up in the sky to plot his course. Just like C. Bell said, a motherfucker don't realize there's the phases of the moon every day until it's a full moon and somebody starts going crazy and say, yeah, the moon must be full. That's the only time you realize some stuff. But it goes on to say up in here, it goes on to say that it'll be overrun by barbarians and foreign deities and all of this. And it's actually one of the greatest passages in history of our demise, of out of Egypt I will call my son. Not Jesus Christ, your ass. That's the phrase, out of Egypt I will call my son. The key here is, this is so precise on what is going to happen about us going to America, because it says that Imhotep starts to cry. He said, well, will we ever get out of this mess? He's turning to Tahuti this. And Tahuti said, yes, Mayat will be established. And Mayat meaning law and order, balance, reciprocity. That's on the physical plane, but Mayat is also talking about a whole other energy or entity, and the ultimate manifestation of your soul on the Mayat level of its rising up. He said, well, Mayat will be established. He said, where? He said, well, it will be a land that people will go and speed to by boats and all other types of ways of traveling. And all different races will go to this land at the ends of the earth. Where the hell is that? America. This is the West, which is supposed to be the end of the earth. Like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, so shall the Son of Man, or the Son in man, which is your higher self, the black dot. He said, well, there will be a land where everybody will go to, and there will be a group of people which will be the extremities of ancient Egypt, will rise up in that land and bring back the orders of Mayat. He said, well, who are these people? He said, they now live in the African hills, or the Libyan hills. Now, 5,000 years ago, before Libya was Arab, Libya was black. And he just put one translation of an African city. You see what I'm saying? Which means, basically, who are these people? They are us. They are us. Thousands of years from now, 5,000 years from now, people that will be hit in the head and taken and left them brain dead in the West. That's your whole Hiram Abiff story. All of this particular stuff is taken from this. So this is a great passage that goes into the information, and I want to explain this particular part. This is a great passage that goes into particular information on prophecy on how we were going to actually fall and go take it to the West. So we get the biblical thing about, you'll be in a land in bondage for 400 years in a place not your own. And yes, that is, and we can go through the Bible and we can find this particular information, and we can prove this, because most people want to find it in the Bible. But what we don't realize, we got other information that's accurate detail, which will tell you the entire story, whereas you don't even have to go and say, have an argument with some other person, well, that's not necessarily your race. Whereas when you read this, this is the reason why they don't ever let you know about these types of books. So this was a must-have to have on your shelf. Every black person should own this. You see what I'm saying? We just didn't know what it was. When we see the word Hermes, we think that's Greek, and we think that's a white person or some type of person. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, this gets past us. But it's talking about the wisdom of Tahuti. But I want to explain something else. I got in the same book, but I want to explain this to you, because it goes on to say they're talking about the Creator. Now, in the end, it's talking about the Creator. In the same book, in the same papyrus, Hermes is talking about the Creator. Now, this particular Creator, you have some pens or something that you don't get off. Some pens.
Yeah, right on the side of that book.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, sure, yeah. You really throwing down. Which is very key, and I'm going to get into this tonight. Is this, well, I'm getting into it right now. Is this particular Creator that he's explaining in here is the god Zeus, that you know is the Greek version of the Creator. Now, the key here is, he goes on to say, he's talking about the Creator. Now, listen very closely. This is very close. This is very key that you understand this, because we have to break what is called a God spell. Let's see how you do it. Okay. We have to break this God spell. Now, look at this. Let me get this particular part so you can understand something. Let me get this right so we can explain this. First of all, see, can the cameras get a hold of this since we're making a video? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back so I'm going to make it big enough. Yeah. Let the cameras pick this up. Now, I'm going to read something to you. And then I'm going to go into a history on this tonight. So don't worry. Don't worry. One thing about it, you will get your money's worth. Just stay here all damn night until they throw us out. So you ain't got to worry about that. You never got to worry about that long haul when it comes to me. That's right. So we got all night to do this thing. And it don't matter, 2 people up in here. It's the knowledge, and the people who came is the people that's supposed to get this shit. You understand what I'm saying? You got to start listening to the spirit realm on how things go. The amount of people that came is the people that's supposed to be here. That's the way the spirit does things. The spirit doesn't do things. A lot of times we look at things based on a certain calculation and a turnout based on the way we plan things everyday life. The spirit does things on another realm. And certain things come because certain people need to see certain things, because certain people need to see certain things based on fucking Asbury Park. Right. You see what I'm saying? And certain other people don't need to see the things at all, because every now and then you might get an interruption. Some fool might be up in here, you know what I'm saying, interrupting the flow of the energy, and nobody learns nothing. So therefore, it's the key, because I'm going to tell you something, and the reason why I'm saying this is because the simple fact, the diagram which I'm getting ready to read, we have what is this sickness of the God spell, that we got to have some deity over us. But it says in the Zohar that the man on earth thinks that God is on high, while the angels in heaven say God lives on earth. Now, a profound thing happened with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this particular part, and it's probably mythology, but it explains something precise. It said that Master Farad Muhammad took a glass of water and showed him the black man and told him to look into it. And when he looked into it, he showed him a picture of how the black man looked on Mars. Well, first of all, anybody knows, well, somebody say that's some crazy shit, but anybody knows that anytime you do divination or divine, this is the same way Nostradamus got his visions, by looking in a black pan of water. It was just like a damn TV screen. Just like a TV screen. You see what I'm saying? And this is why they didn't fucking need TV in ancient Kemet. You just take a damn bowl down there, and if your third eye open and shit, you can watch TV all night. We just got the damn artificial version of it. It's almost like a damn artificial leg, and you thinking that's advanced technology. No, advanced technology is only the shit that you got to do based on the technology that you used to do in your own body, because we were Superman. What the fuck Superman need a car for? Check. Now, dealing with this particular information, we must understand this. He said, but the black man that was on Mars used to worship the black man on Earth. And the whole cosmos with these angels are looking for us. But you're saying, how are we going to get out of this? What you don't realize is that your own spirit is the one that's coming for you, and your spirit is the one that's going to be out here that's going to help the brothers and sisters that's not open yet. You're going to do it. The God that is coming to save you is yourself. Now, this particular passage in here, and like I said, this book explains so much exact because it's old enough to not have all the damn political bullshit and cultural shit that breaks down things and gets confusion. It's the oldest text on the on the earth. You see what I'm saying? So by it being some of the oldest texts on the earth, it explains things a little more precise. Now listen what this says. They're talking about Zeus. That just simply means that the people who translated the god that was ruling over them was Zeus at this particular time. So Zeus is just another name for the god of Greece, which in actuality is a black god because it came from the Etruscans or the Etrurians by way of Chaldea and Samaria. Now look at this. He's explaining about creation. Never thank the Creator for shit no more. You are the Alpha and the Omega. Let me explain this to you, because see, we got to break. In order to rise up, you got to break certain patterns that is age-old patterns that's been put down here, and we just say things because we're thinking on a certain Judeo-Christian way. So when we look at ancient Kemet and ancient civilizations, we say, oh, them motherfuckers, they didn't have no moralism, and they didn't do these particular things, and you just don't understand that you are thinking someone taught you how to look at everything. So don't look back into the ancient world with a modern eye. You got to somehow try to understand the way these people thought. Just like this Egyptologist called Adolf Ehrman. Now look at the arrogance of the damn white man. He got a book called Daily Life in Ancient Kemet. This fool got the gall to say, because he, a white German, in the late 18th century, 19th century, or in the early 1900s, because he couldn't understand ancient Camite or ancient Egyptian religion, he got the gall to say that the Egyptians didn't understand their religion. Hey, can you understand the arrogance of that? You get so arrogant until you're stupid with racism, or because you're so arrogant that you think that the apex of mind or the apex of thought is European thought. Because he couldn't understand what was going on because he saw a series of contradictions in the Egyptian or the Kemetic religion. He said the Egyptians couldn't understand their religion. That's like you got a damn motherfucker say that motherfucker can't understand his damn color, or he can't understand the fingers on his hand. All because now, another guy named Faulkner came about, and because the other white Egyptologists couldn't get it right, Faulkner came about and said, hey, they got mistakes in the shit because they built the mistakes up in there because nature is a series of contradictions. You don't find one or two leaves the same damn shape. You don't find a blade of grass all the same likeness. Nature is a series of contradictions, and that's called a chaos sphere. And that's the way it is. Contradictions is fucking order. You get it?
Yes, sir.
You see, but the white boy is so rigid and stuff because that's the way he is. A linear, left brain, linear type, thinking type of person. Now, going back to this particular information, let's explain something here. This is dealing with the creation. Now, the Creator has control in the place which is between heaven and earth. Uh-oh, we got a problem there. Well, we can't be arguing no more about it because even if the person, the theologian came and shit, any fool knows that to get past the argument of who's right, you got to go all the way back to the beginning. It's like I call a blueprint room. We're going to talk about that tonight. If to get past the argument of who's right, you just got to go back before the shit, to a time before the shit got fucked Just like that same thing they used to do in elementary school, where they go and tell a lie, or they tell a story, and by the time the story gets to the end of the class, the shit be totally changed. And they can do it 8 times, and 8 times it'll be changed by the time it gets to the end of the class. So now, the Creator that is in control in this place, that is in between the heaven and earth, he is called Zeus. That is the life, Platonus Zeus, is the Lord over the earth, the sea, and he does not possess the nourishment of all living creatures. He's the creator, but he does not possess the nourishment of all living creatures. For it is the core that bears the fruit of these forces, always powerful in a circle of the earth. But those of others are always from him who is. This is what this shit means right here. Let me explain this to you. He says that the God that everybody worshiping, he created the physical realm, and he created a certain aspect of things, but he is in between the heaven and the earth. Then it goes on to say, well, who is the person who bears the fruit of the universe? He said the one that bears the fruit of the universe is in a circle in the earth. Get it? In a circle in the earth. Then you can see how shit is turning around. Well, where is the circle in the earth? First of all, this has a multiple meaning. It's not necessarily talking about up under the ground, but it's talking about the energy. There's a certain energy up under the ground. It's the same energy that's inside of you, as above, so below, as on top, or as up under. What it's talking about is this. This particular thing that they call the underworld or up under the earth and stuff is actually talking about the people that live on the earth on the lowest realm. So in actuality, what it means is trying to say here is that the God here is not the God that's the most ancient and the Alpha and the Omega. So we didn't have to create nothing, we just are. You all getting this? What I'm trying to say is this. I'll give you another scenario on what I'm trying to say here, on what we're talking here. In the Gnostic scripture, which is another scripture that was dug out of ancient Hemmitt, it goes on to say that you got a deity, and I'm going to go into this in a few minutes when we go into the history of the Titans, that you have a deity that broke away from the heaven sphere. He was a young child. He went and created a realm of his own. But he did not have the authority to create the whole universe because the whole universe was created before his ass. And he broke off on his own and took a little bit of renegade group with him. That's why in the Bible it says, let us make man. You see what I'm saying? This particular one went to a certain realm, and created his own reality, but he is a subordinate deity. That means that there's a greater deity greater than him. It's greater than him. His name in the Hebrew thing is Yahweh, the subordinate deity. His other name is Jehovah. In the Gnostic scripture, his name is called Adalabros, or Adalabos, which is a renegade deity that broke away from the heaven sphere. In the Gnostic scripture, which is a good book with the Gnostic scripture, get Bentley Layton's book, The Gnostic Scripture. Bentley Layton's book, The Gnostic Scriptures. This is the Gnostic Scriptures. And it goes on to say that this God was a jealous God. And he said, I am God, and I shall have no other God before me. But his mother said say in one thing is Sophia, on another thing is Arphet, Newt, different names for her all over the world. She said, a daughter of Yahweh or Jehovah, don't lie. There is a God above you, and he lives on the earth. What happened? When he created, so let me go back to the story right now so we can clear this up. You got the cosmos. You got to simplify things. Not for you, but we need a smooth flow to get out of intellectualism, because that's the white boy's left brain shit. Because he's trying to document things to prove his shit being right. We don't have to do that. What happened is this. You got the cosmos. Millions and millions and millions of years old, and you got the gods, the Alpha and Omega gods ruling the shit, but they are all one. Because it's energy, and energy can never be created or destroyed, just transferred. You see what I'm saying? That's us in the cosmos. We got very old, and a group of our kids broke away from us and created their own world. Because of us being old and it's just that the energy just went to sleep, our kids somehow devised a plan to trap us or trap our spirits down here on the earth inside of the physical body. As a result, when she said that there is somebody higher than you, Yahweh, and he lives on earth, because secretively he could trap a small amount of energy that he stole from the gods. But what happened was, this particular one who trapped this small amount of energy, secretively the gods in heaven, including the great mother, slipped the divine seed through him into the man on earth. But the divine seed from the man on earth was the seed that comes from the Most High, the Alpha and the Omega. You getting where I'm coming from here? So it's like you got a group of renegade soldiers that go off somewhere and they terrorizing a town. You see what I'm saying? And they snatching people and snatching slaves and all kinds of shit, trying to set up their own shit. And they said, to clean this up, we're going to have to go and get the top people to go up in there and clean this shit up. So basically, the top people from the cosmos came down here, and they fell down here to clean this up. We just so happen to be those top people. So in the papyrus, it says that the true beings, they are at the core that bears the fruit, which means they have fallen down here, and they have buried the fruit. These forces are always powerful and in a circle of the earth, which is just basically talking about, even if you want to deal with the physical structure of hell, or whatever what it is, what is up is now down. So it's about like this. The science is like this. You all get this? Okay, listen. I need something to wipe off with. Just give me a...
It's in the box.
Oh, it's in the box. Okay, you got it all. Y'all mean business. It's simple. What we're talking about here is this. This is the key. What we're talking about here is this particular phenomenon. What is up is now down. So we fell down here. But in a cycle or a polar shift, what is down becomes up on top of the motherfuckers that we was trapped in to believing was God. When we go into the lecture later on, we're going to get into a lot of this particular information. In the Greek thing, this God, this renegade deity that trapped us, was Zeus. Did I spell that right? No, what? Z-E-U-S. Z-E-U-S-E, right? Z-E-U-S. Z-E-U-S. Let me get this right. Zeus. This is a subordinate deity. Get that E right. This is a subordinate deity. Z-E-U-S. I'm going to spell this right because this is a subordinate deity, which means he is a deity, but he is not the Most High. But if he has got somebody else under him, and you look up, and somebody trained you to look up, and you see him, you figure he's the Most High. Doesn't necessarily mean that way. It's the whole thing like an ant in a coconut shell of water. Thinks it's a whole ocean. You see what I'm saying? Now, what does this mean? Now, this is very key because what we're dealing with now, we've got enough advanced knowledge on the planet that we understand how this shit is going to take place for us to get out of this baby. Because Bob Marley said it, the only solution is total destruction. And that's what you should look to. That's why you came down here, to destroy this motherfucking world. Bottom line, you are the revelation deities, that's your ass, and that's what your job is. And the only reason why you have been fucked up in every other kind of plan you got is because that's not what you came here for. You came here to suffer, to suffer the ills of the fall, to turn this shitty inside out and kill it from the inside. That's your job. That's what you're here for. You see what I'm saying? You are the angels among us to do this type of information, to do the job. Now, Zeus, and I'm going ahead of myself, is supposed to be this God. Yahweh, Jehovah, and any deity that you have been worshiping as the creator. As the creator. He's not the creator of the universe. He's just the creator of the physical laws that trap man's soul. You see what I'm saying? That's different. That's different. Let me see, can I find something? Can I find something that deals with this? I got so much information, so much notes. So much notes. Y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me because I got so much information and so much notes that we go straight science, and don't worry about it. We got so much information that we can go for 3 days in here. So, we can go for 3 days. See, because the whole key is lecturing and giving information out and being able to understand information is a fucking privilege. It's not a job. It's not a job. It's not an occupation. It's a privilege. You understand what I'm saying? That means you're supposed to do this shit even when no money in it is involved, and that's most of the damn time. You see what I'm saying? It's a privilege. You understand where I'm coming from? For the simple fact that you are here and wanting to know knowledge, that means that somebody, your higher self, thank God, was so advanced, so it was the ones lucky enough, okay, I got a piece right here. It was the ones lucky enough to, in actuality, was able to gain this particular knowledge. And that's a privilege that's here. It's not just a thing of you being entertained. Because, believe me, if your soul wasn't advanced enough, you would not be up in here. You would not be able to take this shit. You see what I'm saying? You would, first of all, you'd be so messed up, you would not be able to even think about going to something and learning something on your day off. That's the first fucked up thing. You see what I'm saying? Second thing, if it ain't something that's entertaining people, you wouldn't be able to do it. The third thing is you would be so scared out of your mind to go against the order of God and not think that you're going to hell that you're already in. You would run out of this damn place. And the key is, that's what we got to do, to rebel. We're going to get in all this. All this can be straightened out. But please don't leave by being so timid that you're just going to leave out. You're unsure of things. You're just going to leave out and just say, hey, you know, I just don't know that, brother. It sounds pretty good, but I don't know, man. What about if I'm going to hell for just listening to this shit? What if? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So please, this is what I was looking for. Listen. The true God, listen, one of the prominent fundamental features of Gnostic thought, and Gnostic just means gnosis, that's just the thought of the ancient world, or creation of God in the entire senses of the universe, is experienced and is judged as evil. Let me bring that, say this again. Let me break it down. Got to go slower so you can understand what this thing just said. One of the prominent fundamental features of Gnostic thought is indeed an opposition between the world or creation and God. The entire census of the universe is experienced and judged as evil. Now this is what it says. God, or the Most High God, that's us, the Most High One, is not held responsible either for evil in this world or the world itself, which is evil. He absolutely transcends the world, and he has no reason, he has no relation, to it, for any relation would debase himself and enslave him. That's why every time we come to this particular world, we become enslaved.